Thank you, Heike.
Okay.
Okay, welcome everyone to our sixth annual Leonard Orr Day. We celebrate Leonard's life and legacy, and it's been 6 years since his passing. And we are also celebrating today that it is the 50th anniversary of the perfection of the rebirthing breathwork technique, where Leonard really dialed in and tuned into the breathing rhythm in and out through the nose primarily, and all of the things that define high quality rebirthing breathwork sessions. And so that's been around for 50 years, and we celebrate and honor Leonard for the half a century that he was here, spreading this all around the world, and being a marvelous friend and mentor and instigator of aliveness in so many ways and levels. And we're here with Heike Strombach. We are Rebirth International Breathwork Association. If you're new to us, we're right here. We're just about half our team is here for this meeting today. We're the core team. I don't remember how many years combined we have together in serving Leonard. Heike, you worked side by side with him, really building the movement for 28 years. And I worked with him for 18, and Peace, you came in just 1 year after me, I think. So 17 years or so
Mhm.
that we all worked very closely with him, organizing events. I published his ebooks and newsletters.
Actually,
Uh,
2005, right? Was when I first
2005.
entered. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
20
yeah.
years.
20, oh, okay. So you came to the training center a year after me, but
Yeah.
I met Leonard in 2002, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah. So we love him dearly. We send our love to Leonard, and who is very much present and available in energy in the form of spirit. And we send our love to everyone in the community, whether you've met him or not, whether you've done breath work or not. Just know that this is a loving community that has very open arms. We are here to celebrate you and your natural divinity and empower your breath and aliveness. So we welcome and celebrate you. Heike, is there anything that you'd like to share as
Well,
being our elder and most experienced and wise builder and leader of this movement as well?
yes, I'm very happy for all the work that Leonard has, or the all the inspiration that Leonard has given to us, and we feel it is really important to keep reminding us that all modern form of breath work basically is based on the connected breathing rhythm that Leonard or found by coincidence or by spiritual guidance in the bathtub. And so now when you look at the net, it's now all about breathing. And he was the main inspiration behind the connected breathing. And he was a very special human being who had a way of loving each of us, a way of approving. So he had healed his parental disapproval syndrome, that's how he called that, and he had self-love, and also he was able to radiate out that love. And so that's what is also binding us together as a community, because we feel that that is something that we like to share with other people. And of course, through the connected breathing. Thank you. And I hand it over to Peace.
Ah, so yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Leonard was an important person in my life. I met Leonard at a time when I was really feeling very cut loose and floating and ungrounded, and that was disconnected from my family because, when you are um, experiencing, when you live from an experience of a metaphysical awareness, it kind of separates you from the people who are living a more conventional type of life. And it felt like I'd always felt like I was on the other side of a glass wall, window looking in at everything, but wasn't really part of it. And when I met Leonard, he gave me an anchor, a base, a community. I felt like I was, I had come home. And what that home was simply an open, loving space. And I just knew that I belonged. And that was probably, that was a very unusual, unfamiliar feeling to me, to feel like I belonged. And when there's a roomie, I see, I'm just thinking of this right now. I think it's Hafiz or Rumi, I'm not sure which one, but on beyond um, all sense of right or wrong, there is a field, and I will meet you there. I'm paraphrasing. This is the place where our souls meet. And the Leonard, at least, the center had all people coming in and training, and everything was coming up for them. And, that could be a pretty wild place. But Leonard was the field that all of this, took place in. And for me, Leonard felt very safe to me. And as Heike said, his basically, he did not, well, he had a lot to say about things. He, at the bottom line, the bottom base of it is was love. The love was always there, and the approval. Even if he didn't like what you were doing, you didn't lose his approval as a part of his circle, his family. So he came. I met him just by accident, and supposedly by accident, but it was just what I needed at the time. So that's what I have to say about Leonard.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So I met Leonard in 2002 when I had just gone through an awareness training, working in consciousness, and the focus being around that we have freedom of choice and personal responsibility and integrity and being of service to our communities. And I really refer to that as kind of when I cracked out of my shell, my awakening. I got that what I think, feel, do, and say really, really does matter. And I am, creating my reality, my perspectives, and how I treat other people. It's all happening in here. And so that was really a big awakening for me. And I heard the facilitator mention unconscious death wish, is what I thought he said. He said unconscious death urge. And so I got in contact with the facilitator after this training. This was with my first teacher, Matt Garrigan. And I was telling him, I want to learn breath work, and I really want to know more about this unconscious death wish that you talked about, because I have that and I want to heal this. And he was just kept saying, you need to get in touch with Leonard Orr. Just go online, type in Leonard Orr and get in touch with him. So that's all he told me. I didn't know that Leonard founded the worldwide breathwork movement and also coined the term physical immortality. And so not right now, honey, mommy's talking. And I might need to step out for a second here. So I found him online and I got a hold of Leonard, and I was just amazed to realize who he was. It was just the answers to everything that I was looking for. It was clearly the next step. And he was right here in the US, and he had a training coming up in a few months. And I just knew this is what I wanted to do. After my first breathwork session, I knew this is what I'm here for. This is my life's work. I was in my 20s and I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life until I had my first breathwork session. And so meeting Leonard was just a divine providence, divine grace, totally meant to be, right in sync with what I feel I came here to do. And yeah, it was a relationship that just, it's hard to describe. I could start crying. it's hard to describe because it's not just the events that happened or the even the experiences that were shared. It was the energy, just the energy of it, the love and the approval and the uplifting and the inspiration and empowerment. Leonard was just remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And he had that level of commitment and devotion and dedication to everyone that he met. It was just clear. Um, so being in, even just describing it, being in that vibration, being in that energy was a total high and totally blissful and at times infuriating. Leonard would call it moments of temporary insanity where your stuff comes up, or my stuff was coming up, my unconscious identities or fears or any baggage that I was carrying, and just moments of becoming completely blinded by it and not seeing Leonard at all for who he was and being quite enraged. And then having that clear and always coming back to the love. It was a phenomenal life experience that lives in me now. And I aim to be that vibration and be that energy in the world and be in service in my own way with that. Um, so it's difficult to describe. I really hope that people will attend, Heike's trainings in person or, events with us to experience that one-to-one and community connection, the energy that is built there. I know we can create that and experience that here. There is no time and space. Ultimately, we are all here participating as one in consciousness and energy, and there is no blockages around time or space around that vibration. But there is something about coming together as a community in the physical form and experiencing that energy. And Leonard was very much all about that. He lived the 9-day training every week of his life, every day of his life. He was always doing a training. He was always fasting. He was always bathing. He was always breathing. He was always doing fire. He was always teaching and staying focused on the principles and the mindset and the way of being.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to share also, we're celebrating 50 years of rebirthing breathwork. And I did a series of interviews with Leonard, and in one of them, titled A Special Interview, I asked him about his rediscovery of the connected breathing rhythm. I think it was 1968 when he was a student of theology, a college student, when he started having the spontaneous experiences in his bathtub. And so you can hear directly from Leonard and feel his energy, his voice, and his vibration in these interviews. They're marvelous. They were done back in 2012 over a phone teleconference call. So the audio quality is, it's old fashioned. But you can really get a feel for Leonard's spirit and energy in those interviews. And then also, these are available on leonardorbooks.com. And I really want people to have that direct access to Leonard in that way. There's something really special and magical about hearing his voice and being in that energy field of his vibrations. So that's still very much alive and available. And you can learn a bit about the discovery of rebirthing breathwork and Leonard's magnificent consciousness and awareness and who he was.
Thank you, Sarah. So if we go a little bit deeper today, I mean we always talk about the breath work and we talk about his ideas, the biggies. He coined the word biggies, and meaning these are the big events in which we experience in some form traumatic feelings and sensations, and they shape our personality. And so Leonard had a deep understanding about human experience, meaning human feelings. He understood what it was about. And if we look at the purpose of life, we can see it from a superficial standpoint. I mean, nowadays there's many trainings. You can become a breath worker in a weekend and online and without really any spiritual depths to it. But for Leonard, the rebirthing breath work was and is such a fundamental experience of life, of your own soul's story and history and collection of experiences that form our shadow, that form our even our suppressed hidden talents and all that. And you can experience in a good guided breathing session, hopefully in an individual session, you go so deep that you get to the core of your soul. And then you will understand, okay, the purpose of my life, this life, what am I supposed to do? And so all our trainings, we go into what is my life vision? What is my life mission? Because it unfolds naturally once we are working on ourselves and we heal ourselves. There's nothing else to do but support other people. When we get out of our own personal drama, then we will be able to hold the space. And that was the unique thing about Leonard. He had healed so much of his own death urge and pains and disapproval syndrome that he always talked about, how he felt disapproved of as a child. So he had healed so much that he became the butter lion. So his Indian name was Makan Singh. So he really was such a soft personality who didn't believe in any kind of forcing things into action. While I, with my personality, as a manifester by human design, but also being born in Germany, I had more the tendency to try to force things into form. And his guidance for me was understanding to let life unfold and to relax and to trust that things can come true. And all his teachings, like the idea of physical immortality, it's about happily living in a healthy body in God's divine plan. And just putting out that is a reality, that is an option. And maybe it takes us a few more lifetimes. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be working towards it. And so some of us are working now with the Saint Germain books and the I Am presence. And sorry, and we that is optional. And if we don't claim that right in this life, we are still working towards it. So we are improving each lifetime, and we are becoming a better person. We are becoming a more loving. We're becoming more human. And for me, that is the purpose of life. And that's so it was for Leonard. And seeing people transform their pains has always been a miracle for me. So, shall we read some affirmations? So, the affirmations basically are ideas. Can you, Sarah? Or
Yeah, I can get started. I have the affirmations I have with me are the affirmations for physical immortality, and I'm reading them from Paula Churchill's book, Eternal Breath. This is the biography of Leonard that she compiled. And so affirmations for physical immortality. Do you want me to just read through the list since
Sure,
okay.
because
Or
it's
I'll read a few
difficult
of
with
them.
Zoom to speak it back. Usually we speak it back to the person who reads it, and so it becomes very much alive. but
Mhm.
please.
We are living the victorious life on this planet in the kingdom of God now. The cause of death is now lifted from my mind and my body. I am free of death. The death urge is now banished from my friends and me. We have achieved victory over death. I am no longer a victim of death. Death is my friend and servant. I no longer fear death. Death is optional. I am now free of my family traditions around death. The old enemy of mankind is now dead. Death is powerless when I free myself from my mental belief in it and I don't give it life energy. Practicing the presence of God and the simple and pleasurable spiritual purification practices which God has given us with mind, earth, air, water, and fire gives us victory over death. We now control death. Death does not control us. It is okay with God if I master life and death. In fact, he recommends it and has done so for millions of years. I can now trust God. He, she no longer kills people. God no longer kills children, parents, old people, young people, or good people. Everyone is responsible for their own death by their own thoughts and lifestyle. I'll read last one. My family is now free of death. My son is now free of death. My daughter is now free of death. My dear wife or husband is now free of death. My parents are free to choose.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
So
So
when
there's a list of probably, there's like 50 more affirmations in there, and it just keeps going and expanding on from there.
And I find that when you look at each of these affirmations, you can, and Leonard's assignment to me, which I haven't done, is I am supposed to write each affirmation for 3 weeks, a whole page. And but when I'm in a training right now, a training is happening here in my center. And when we read the affirmations, each sentence, I find it um, so meaningful and so deep. You can think about it for what that really means. How would life look like if we were not continuously expecting something bad can happen to us? Because usually we are not enjoying the prospect of sudden death or disease. That's not something that is that uh, that empowers us. We might learn something from it. It might be a challenge. It might be a healing process. But it is a life that is based on the idea of suffering. And it's not our divine glory. And we used to have other times in human life where we were living in that oneness. So the Indian scriptures talk about the different yugas. And there was other times, the Satya Yuga, where we all connected, where we all understanding, we are living in that union, and we are empowered and healed and supported and sustained and protected by the divine power. And now we are living in a time where most people are totally dedicated to materialistic thinking. And even the what you see on social media is usually just superficial self, it doesn't go to the depths who we as a human being really are very often. And of course, there's also on the other side, there's a whole new movement which goes so much deeper than ever in the last few hundred years. And that's available too. So we have to decide what we want to focus our mind on. And that was all Leonard's teaching. We become what we think about. And that's the teachings of the Ascended Masters. So, what are we thinking about? Are we thinking of fear and pain and trouble? Or are we really dedicating our thoughts for trust, for love, for the beauty that we're living in.
One of my favorite affirmations is my mind is centered in infinite intelligence that knows my good. I am one with the creative power materializing all of my desires. And for me, that was very important because I didn't have to think about what to think. I affirm, I left it to the infinite intelligence that knows my good and created the alignment because I could get myself in trouble trying to think about what to think about.
That's beautiful. I love the affirmations too because I love the assignment that he gave you. I want to do that. That would be wild. That would be really wild
About
because
40 affirmations by 3 weeks. So,
it's a
yes,
real
so
time
maybe we
commitment.
should make a commitment, and we can post one affirmation each week on Facebook, and anybody who
Sure.
likes to join us, write one page each. And the way we worked with affirmation basically is we write the affirmation and then we write the emotional response. Meaning we are looking deeper, what is the negative thought that prevents that positive to come true. So if I write, I, Heike, am living the victorious life on the planet in this kingdom, in the kingdom of God now, do I feel that? Right? Am I feeling that I'm living in the kingdom of God? I had life is a continuous challenge, not just my own, but watching other people. So we are watching what's going on in the world when we see the news, and we wonder, is that the kingdom of God? I mean, how down can we go? How low can we get in the desire to kill each other before we rise up to the glory of the divine nature? And what does it take? Leonard was always wondering, what does it take to transform that what is right now into love and beauty? Everybody on this planet, all of humanity. And so Leonard's life was deep thinking. And then he wrote about it. He wrote many, many books, Breaking the Death Habit. He talked about healing, breath awareness, and also about a government without taxes and alternative money systems, and how to create a political system that sustains life, and that's not based on corruption, that's not based on who is the strongest and gets the most. So that's what we honor about Leonard Orr today, and the inspiration that he gave us to look a little bit deeper into how do we want to live on this planet. And
Is neighborhood representation available at leonardorrbooks.com?
I can look it up really quick. I think so, because that one is in the public domain. People are free to share, and
yes,
I believe it is Peace, but let me just confirm that.
Because
so
you were
we don't
talking
have the rights
about
for his books, so that's why we have to.
No, but some of them, Divine Economics, some of them he gave to the public domain. He invited people to share them and spread them and use them. So we have Divine Economics available in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And those are right now, those are currently the only books that are in by his permission in the public domain.
Divine
But
Economics, does that include neighborhood representation?
it does.
Okay.
All of that's in there. It's got the alternative money currency
Okay.
that he developed, Love Notes Money, and
You put
It's
up your
all of it's
hand,
there.
so
I didn't mean to, sorry.
okay.
I,
Yeah.
I just want to say about neighborhood representation, the reason I just think it's one of the things I loved about Leonard is he, the simplicity. He was able to bring things that can be so complex, and he was able to come up with very simple I I to execute ideas, and neighborhood representation I think is brilliant, and it is so, it's like, why didn't anyone else think of that? It's so and maybe because it's functional, and I don't know how many people really want things to work rather than, you know, uh, just trying to find another way to control things. But neighborhood representation, I really would suggest people read about it. It really is very simple and brilliant idea of how to have our voices heard, how the people can form their own groups of representatives, and those representatives can come together. So you have what's happening in the political arena, which is now governed completely, almost completely by corporate and multi-million and billion-dollar entities, and how the people can now have their voice and their influence in representation again. And it was brilliant when I first heard of it 20 years ago. And now, as things have progressed, it's even more timely. So that's my plug for neighborhood representation.
Thank you. I love it. I think it was really, he was kind of ahead of his time in so many ways with all of his ideas and how far-reaching they went. Because he brought it out to the larger community level and political scene, and but also he was always bringing it back to the individual, our personal responsibility, our personal energy management, our own that it matters that we heal our death urge. The I'd say 99.9% of the population is living and functioning out of a really heavy death urge, and we don't know any different. It's our current reality. We don't know there's any other way to live, think, or be, and we're not even aware that we're doing it. And that's the power of using the affirmations and going through them as we start to focus our attention on the idea of physical immortality in a really practical way, and the common sense of physical immortality, and we put our attention there. It uncovers anxiety and urgency and tension and aggression and all of these ways of being that people aren't even aware they're functioning out of or living under the thumb of, so to speak. It's kind of the ultimate in victimhood, right? And taking and claiming personal responsibility and understanding that what we think, feel, be, and do and say matters and is contributing and is affecting and impacting and is sourcing and creating the world that we live in. It's really easy for us to look at the world and feel devastation and hopeless and feel like a victim. And there's so much horror happening in the world. But if we take it on a personal level and it can really entertain and accept, even just have the willingness to entertain the idea that what's happening within me is reflecting in the world at large, and I'm taking personal responsibility for what I'm believing and feeling and contributing energetically and believing and thinking, it just puts the power back in the appropriate place. It really accepts and acknowledges that we are divine creators. We are God embodied. We are source and life energy, and we do matter that much. So it's important that we work on our death urge. It's important that we heal our biggies, that we take a look at that and we study and get really clear on what our personal case is and what our tendencies are in that personality so that we can transcend it and move beyond it and expand outside of it.
And an important aspect of that, another aspect of Leonard's work was community and how environment matters. And he had bought that land in California for the purpose of having a place and in Virginia and in Walton, I mean, was it Walton, New York?
Yeah.
All of these places to draw and bring community, to bring like-minded people together in close proximity so that they could form these communities. Individual, everybody had their own, took care of their own, lives and what have you, but they were in proximity to be able to come
Mhm.
together to, you know, support each other. And in Virginia, every Friday night was the open potluck. It was kind of like the family dinner, and everybody just brought things and shared a meal together. And these things are really very important. And now, post-pandemic, I know I am very comfortable being in my own little space, and I don't often get together with community. And now, when I do, it's often in my family. So, which is challenging. It's necessary, but it's also challenging because I am diving and swimming in environments that are necessary for me to, it enables me to heal, but at the same time, it's not, I don't have that, it's rather isolated. So what I can do on my own and what we can do in Zoom, it's not the same as when you have that physical community. And not to say it's impossible, but because there's nature and there are the elements. But I do want to bring up this important point about being together in community
Yeah. And
again.
and when the three of us met last year in
Yeah.
Virginia, we went to Stanton to Leonard's home. We had the privilege of being invited into his old house. We looked at the Doonies and were really welcomed by the new owner. Not that I recommend everybody goes there, but it was just a real pleasure to just be there back on that land where he lived for since the 90s and the powerful energy that was there. And so when we talk about fear and the death urge, everything that happened during the pandemic was only possible because of the trigger of the death urge. It was triggered by statements like children should not see their grandparents because they might die. Children thought they were killing their grandparents if they meet. All that fear and craziness to control people to get a vaccination that wasn't even tested properly and had a spiritual impact on people. So the death urge is really, really up. It's not a theory that we can say, oh, that was just one of Leonard's crazy ideas, but it was observation. And the people in war, the countries that, all that, what you see is basically the human death urge in action. And we are only doing that because we don't consider each other divine and equally powerful creators of life. We don't value ourselves. That's why people go to war. And we don't value the other people that we think we have a right to demolish. And so all what is happening in the world right now is part of the death urge. And so we have to look at that and say, humanity, if we keep not doing higher spiritual work, we are on a pretty drastic path. And we have the potential to destroy the world a few times with all the weapons that are. So Leonard was thinking of peace. And he said, peace and power is an unbeatable combination, but the power has to be used with a clear mind, with a loving mind. And so today we will have another day for physical immortality. We were not really only going into physical immortality, but it seems to be so important. And maybe at the end, peace or Sarah could do the healing meditation for the world, if that is something that you would want to do for us. Okay, peace.
Yeah, I just want for some people that might not know the connection between the death urge and physical, and the reason we talk about physical immortality, and because the death urge, we want to eliminate all anti-life thoughts. So in order to uh, conquer the death urge, one of the best ways to do it is to contemplate physical immortality, live forever. Why would you not want to live forever? Well, all those reasons you would not want to live forever are the anti-life thoughts that need to be unraveled. So that's why it's important to contemplate physical immortality in order to free ourselves from our unconscious death urge. So thank you,
We
Heike.
also have we also have the physical immortality consultation on leonardorrbooks.com, and that has several of Leonard's articles and affirmations included in it. Yeah.
So uh Leonard always said, if people can't even think of physical immortality, how could they ever expect to heal themselves completely? So if we can't even grasp the idea that if we heal everything, there is no reason to go, because we would have fun, we would we would um, we would enjoy each other, we would enjoy our physical body because it would be totally functioning and well, and we would be possibly connected to all the nature spirits and all the spiritual entities and beings around us, and really experience pleasure in the creation.
Maybe we would identify more with the creation than our individual physical appearance. That just occurred to me. I like to share that when I was speaking with Leonard before going down to Virginia for the first time, um, I called him and I said, I just want you to know, I don't know how I feel about this whole physical immortality thing. And he said, it's okay. I just be willing to contemplate it. It gives you your best chance of clearing and healing everything. So I said, okay. And I hung up the phone, and I like to do things immediately. So I immediately contemplated it. And from deep inside, this voice just came up and said, I can't afford to live that long. And this is when I really realized that we have replaced the idea of life energy with the symbol of life energy, which is money. Hence why all the money stuff with in the rebirthing materials, because it's very, very connected. We need aliveness to be alive, and we need the earth's healthy earth to be alive, to support us, because our physical body is supported by these physical elements. We somehow think we need this symbol, this piece of paper, and it's gotten you know
And the big
more and more
corporations,
widespread. What's that?
the big corporations are ready to kill for it. They put
It keeps
bleach
on,
in
right?
the menstruation pads so you bleed longer. I mean, all that crazy stuff, is just for money. It's just like we have to wake up. We have to claim our divine power and say, we're saying no to all that pollution
And
and
money
destruction.
is not the problem. Money could be a good system. We could use money very effectively rather than carrying chickens and cows around. It's certainly a very good instrument of trade. It's just how we're using it, and the thoughts, how it's been connected with. It becomes more important than life, rather than serving life, rather than money serving life. Life is now being made to serve money.
Right.
So
And so then in the Ramayana at the time of in that time old some time ago, money or gold coins were lying on the marketplace, and anybody could take as much as they wanted. And if we have the idea that we only work money driven because we are compelled not to go into poverty, that means we are not trusting that people fulfill a beautiful task that they love to do. So we have to love what we're doing. Like, I'm officially retired, but why would I retire and do nothing? What I love to do is training rebirthers. And so I will do that till I might go into the Himalayas and just sit in a cave and meditate or something, if that's that's on the table. But that's what also Leonard, and so that was his one, maybe it was a mistake or what he did. He never stopped, and he needed a break, and he needed spiritual purification, and he was just serving humanity. So people ask, why did Leonard die? One of the reasons was he was so dedicated to serving humanity and being there, being available to everybody, and processing everybody's death urge and processing everybody's pain. And so he got overloaded by emotional energy pollution.
Yes.
And so
After he died, for a while, I realized, because when I first came there, I spent I took over, I gave him 5 years running the training center because he needed to get back, he wanted to get back out community building. And for a while, I really thought, oh my God, I gave him what he needed to kill himself. And then I realized, no, I finally, that was just part of the grieving process. But in some ways he would have figured it out one without me. So he would have figured out how to do exactly what he wanted to do without me. So I let that go of blaming myself. But
no, but
that was
we all make our own choices, and he made his choices.
right.
And serving humanity for him was his main important uh, goal in life, and he did a pretty good job. And so
Yeah.
he can look back on that life with pride, because or with contentment, because he inspired the world, and he was a revolutionary. So all his ideas were so off, and especially also the rebirthing breath work, the powerful spiritual experiences that people have, uh, what that did to transform the planet.
It's phenomenal, for all of the criticisms or disapproval of Leonard's ideas or choices or death or whatever. He still totally, completely transformed the planet. I mean, how many people are working at that level and contributing? And that was his call to each of us, to build such a high personal presence in our own awareness of our divine self, and to heal and release and free ourselves from the ideas of unconscious death urge and conditioning and all of these crazy personality and past traumas, and to really free and liberate ourselves and be of service at that level and be contributing at that level, was his invitation constantly to all of us. So I wonder if we'd like to take a little break and do some breath work, do some breathing exercises. We've been talking quite a bit this whole
Yes,
time. We
and
touched on some kind of heavy topics.
anybody who's here in the Zoom call is also invited to share if you want to share anything or you have questions.
Yeah, you can
Right.
raise your hand or type a comment in the chat window here if you have
We-
questions or comments you would
We're
like
not
to.
really looking at Facebook right now if there's any comments. So,
I've been watching. I haven't seen anyone
great.
commenting there. Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you.
yeah. Um, okay, shall I lead us in some breath work?
Sure,
Yeah.
please.
Okay, I've got.
Hi, Adama.
Yeah,
Hi, Adama.
there's a lot of people here watching. We're gonna do some breath work. Okay. Okay.
Hi, Adama.
Hi, Sky.
All right. So shall we do, let's do 20 connected breaths and a few different variations of that. If you're new to us, 20 connected breaths was developed by Leonard as a simple breathing practice to help um, liberate our inhibited breathing patterns, any holding patterns we might have, and just to begin accessing the prana or divine energy available because we're not just breathing air, we are literally swimming in energy. So 20 connected breaths is done by taking 4 short, rapid connected breaths, followed by 1 long deep breath. And we repeat that 4 times. So if you're new to this, you can just watch and catch on, come back and watch the replay. But go ahead and join me, and we'll start now with 4 short and 1 long, and I'll be counting on my fingers so you can follow along with me if you need to. Okay, in and out through the nose, pulling on the inhale, releasing the exhale. Last one. Just take a few deep breaths and notice how you're feeling. We're going to do some variations of this. And each time that you take the last long, deep inhale, just notice if you can expand your lungs more and breathe in a little more. Notice if it's more free. This time we're going to open our mouths, relax your jaw, and we're still going to breathe in and out through our nose. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose, but with the mouth open, just to release any tension in the jaw. Ready? Here we go. Take some nice deep breaths. Notice how you're feeling. Notice every sensation. Know that it's all normal and okay. This time we're going to breathe 20 connected breaths through the mouth, inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the mouth. This just tends to move some emotional energy. Some people don't like to drop down into those feelings. It's not the ideal way of breathing. Leonard really emphasized breathing in and out through the nose, but this is purposeful and helpful if someone is really resisting emotions or has a tendency to suppress. Okay, in and out through the mouth. Here we go. Good. And it's all right to go at your own pace. You may notice that you have a hard time keeping up, or it may feel too slow to you. Everyone's got their own breathing habits. So just do what feels comfortable, making sure that you're connecting the breath so that one exhale leads right into the next inhale. We're going to do the 20 connected breaths with our mouth closed, but with our tongue over the front teeth. So you've got your tongue between your teeth. Heike, do you want to tell us the purpose of this one? How this one supports? I know it's not just tension of the jaw, but
Well, basically, yes, it is the tension of the jaw because also in the breathing session, we can have tetany in the mouth. And also during the day, and some people at night grind their teeth. And so it moves the jaw forward. And when you do that, you also feel a lot of powerful energy when it's moving through your system. which you feel usually with all of the each one of the exercise.
It also makes it more difficult to uh, hold the inhale, to control the exhale. The exhale tends to drop with this one too, I've noticed anyway.
Nice, thank you. Great. Okay, so 20 connected breaths with the tongue over the front teeth. In and out through the nose. Giving yourself a few deep breaths. Always noticing how you feel and relaxing into the sensations, not resisting anything.
And yawning is just a sign of releasing. So it's just allow yourself to yawn, and you can breathe connected actually when you're yawning. So allow that because you notice your eyes are watering, so it's lubricating, it's taking a deep breath, it is relaxing on the exhale. So yawning is really powerful.
Good. Thank you. So we're going to do alternate nostril breathing next. This is a simplified version of pranayama. It's just breathing in and out through the left nostril and the right nostril and alternating that balances the yin and yang, the Ida Pingala, the Kundalini energy in the body. I'm doing this because it spirals up through the spine from the base of the spine to the top. It's a very simplified explanation of it. But this can bring on states of transcendence, deep silence, relaxation. And so it's done as Heike and Peace are demonstrating. You can put your two fingers up, and we're going to use the thumb and ring finger. I'm right-handed. I'm using my right hand. What we first do is block the right nostril. So we're going to inhale through the left nostril, close it, and then exhale through the right nostril. Inhale through the right nostril, close, and exhale through the left nostril. That's one set. We always repeat it in increments of 3. So we'll do 3 sets. And again, just doing the connected breath where you gently pull in on the inhale and relax the exhale. So here we go. Take a few deep breaths. Okay, and this time we are going to do noiseless alternate nostril breathing. So it's just sipping in the air and gently letting it out, not withholding or using tension, but just doing it so gentle that it's completely silent. You can't hear yourself breathing. And this is the one where, so as we do that, you inhale, hold, and you're invited to repeat the mantra Om Namah Shivaya 3 times as you hold. Then you exhale, inhale again, hold both nostrils and repeat the mantra 3 times. You're welcome to use any mantra that is suiting for your spiritual beliefs and culture. Okay, here we go. Okay, and just notice how breathing in different ways and in different practices can alter your state, your sensations in your body, your thinking. Anything that anyone would like to share or questions on anything we have spoken about so far?
Well, I've been thinking if I should share my today's event because it is connected with the death urge and also how we impact the beings around us. So, my cat is a good mirror of my life urge, and she has had quite a few miraculous healings. And today she fell 3 stories deep from the roof. She hasn't one broken bone. She has no internal bleedings or injuries, and she just knocked out a little tooth. And so I feel that is part due to the life urge. She had many challenges, and she was short time diabetic, and we healed that. And we healed it with prayer. I'm totally sure that why because we got through but was because of the help of the ascended masters and the prayers that we did. And but the question is why around us there is so much going on. And that I had an intense breathing session today. One of my students here gave me a pretty intense session because watching what's going on in the life of other people or beings, if we get too immersed in the drama or in the pain and we absorb it too much, like as emotional energy pollution, we can drown in it. So how do we lift ourselves up out of what we see? First of all, do I label that pain or suffering? So that was my question in my breathing session. How can I watch the world going through what it's going through and still at the same time trusting that life is has the potential for the glory. So I'm coming back to what we said about before, but I'm so grateful because I think that my cat was saved by my life urge and by her life urge, of course. So we can have, when we change our belief system, we can see miracles in the life of other beings as well. And we contribute, our energy, our light contributes to the light of other people. And Leonard Orr is still available, and Sky will be talking next. So, no? But
I think he was just agreeing and sending energy. I don't know if that was I'd like to speak.
yeah, but
I
he
was
can.
agreeing. I can.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, already. Would you like to finish first, Heike? It sounds.
Yeah. So, I'm saying that because also, some people say, "Oh, Leonard is gone," but Leonard is not gone. He's living on he is living in the etheric world and participating fully, and maybe with more power than he had even during his life, or at least the last years of his life, and he just needed a new body. So we have to work with the world of spirit, and the world of spirit includes also people that are out of a body. And the life urge doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge the option of death. That can be an option for change if we can't bear the circumstances that we created any longer. but it is uplifting for the future, for the next life. So anybody who does a powerful breathing session, I encourage you to call in Leonard and see if he comes through. That's what I was going to say. Sky.
Okay, what can I make up on the spot? Well, earlier on today, following on from what you said, I did tune into Leonard and had a kind of conversation with him, and he gave me a few ideas of things to do, which I will consider and then maybe announce to you actually at some point later today. And it is the case, one of our core beliefs might be that when someone dies, they die. When they shift from one energetic configuration to another, that may be a more accurate way of putting it. They, in my experience, they're actually more available in a funny kind of a way. When my father passed, that marked the end of the perception that I had of him during this lifetime. And thereafter, I can easily connect with him at any time. And really, my idea of what his life was about and what he was bringing to the planet and his aim and what had been passed on to me energetically of that became much clearer and stronger and more powerful and simpler, actually. And although I did not meet Leonard in person, although I was on phone calls that he was on a couple of times, now in recent years, I can tune into his presence quite easily if I so choose. And sometimes Babaji might be the bridge of that connection. And it seems to me that that's true of anyone. If you want to pick any saint or being or animal or situation or anything from all of the history of the universe, past, present, and future, once we shift the belief that that isn't possible, then it's very possible. If anything, we're more restricted here by our perspectives about life and our ideas about the way things are that are at best incomplete and probably almost certainly in most cases inaccurate. That once we open ourselves out to the infinity that you referred to, then actually anything's possible. And it might take time and dedication and, unwavering focus and earnestness on the possibility. The universe is always working in our favor and will reveal its secrets as appropriate, when our consciousness and our communication matches what it is, the level of energy that we wish to match with, then it opens easy as abracadabra. That's my experience, and I'm still inquiring into it, and these are just passing observations, not definitive conclusions about anything. And I do feel the legacy of Leonard very present and very prevalent, and in fact moving and transforming and transmuting to match the energy of what's going on at the planet at the moment. And personally, I'm kind of tuning into that and seeing what little particles of that might be useful and relevant to my life and the work that I do. And yeah, that's an ongoing process, that a forum like this and a space in which to communicate these kinds of ideas hopefully will open up new possibilities for any listener. It's
Right.
Habits are flexible. It just takes one aspect of a habit to be dissembled for it to shift. And that's true of behaviors as it is of thought patterns. And none of them are real anyway. So, you know, make it up as you go along.
Right. And so
In
why?
Jay, it's all a delightful five elemental illusion.
Right, but it's creating, so it is It is creating a certain vibration. And so that is also a reality that we're living in. And so, but it's great what you said about connecting, because why not connect with the highest masters of the universe, with the immortal masters, with the ascended masters, with the angelic hosts, with the beings that have a knowledge that that is available and that wants to support and transform the planet. So the more we seek that those relationships, and that was what Leonard's life was all about. He was seeking the immortal masters. He was seeking the company of people that had a meaningful presence for him to look for and to inspire him.
I I would say, again, this is just an observation that those masters are not in any way different from us. And when we choose to connect and when we are a match for them, then the process is automatic because we are them, they are us, and they're, that aspect of ourselves, so to speak, is always up and running and always ready and waiting. The inner master that we connect with, whatever name or form we give it, is the same inner master for all beings. And it's only our idea of separation that prevents that from happening, and from the bounty and beauty and wealth of inspiration, as you say, that finds its form in creativity here.
And we could call that the I am presence, the divine nature. And in that divine nature, we experience oneness. And that oneness is on that level means we are experiencing the same reality and also developing the same power. So when we call in higher beings, then they can teach us too. So if I need to develop my personality, become more loving, become more patient, become more trustful, then I can also call help. And that was Babaji was helping or is helping anybody who is truly looking for him. And he might help even if we're not looking and protect.
That's often been the case historically, that Babaji has called people to him because he was clearer that they were ready than they were. And sometimes a nudge in the direction of fulfilling one's purpose and promise here seems to come from outside, it's just below the threshold of our consciousness, I think, more than anything.
Thank you. Sarah, so if there is anybody here in the Zoom call who would like to share anything of the people that haven't said anything or anything else, and maybe, I don't know if we have anything else to share, then we will finish at one point with maybe Sarah's meditation for peace, if that's.
Do you want an affirmative prayer?
Yes,
Is
that's
that what
fine.
you're referring to? Okay. Sure. For world peace?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I
But
could do
first
that.
of all, give everybody a chance to be to complete, to say anything, have any questions. And we will continue our talks, of course, and latest the 15th of November. We will go again into the ideas of physical immortality, and so you can find our information and what we are up to in our newsletter. So you go to rebirthingassociation.com and you can sign in to our newsletter. There you find the dates for our trainings. And hopefully there will be events happening in the US again in the spring with Sarah and me. And there is, as I said, a training right now, and I have different trainings in my center here in Germany. Irene Jovi Baumann, she already posted something on Facebook today, and Armando Sanchez will guide or hold the Spanish meeting at 8 p.m. So if you speak Spanish, you can join that meeting. And anything else
Well, I thought to just take a moment to, in case anyone is new here to rebirthing breathwork specifically, just take a moment to kind of define what is rebirthing breathwork and how it is distinct from other forms of breathwork. So, I mean, I can just touch on the basics of it, and Heike, if you want to, or Peace, if you want to fill in any further details. This is the form of breathwork that Leonard really settled on and perfected and taught for 50 years. And so we're celebrating the 50-year anniversary of this. And it is specifically, he observed and learned through his own exploration which techniques brought about transformation and healing most rapidly and most effectively, and got people out of their drama and into their natural divinity and higher states of experiencing being in this life and experiencing the energy of the breath, of getting through a successful, completed energy cycle. So a rebirthing breathwork session is always done one-to-one. It's an individual experience. It's given, and that's for the purpose of giving a person a distinct experience of their own divine life essence. They're breathing in prana and experiencing life force energy and their own divine essence washing through their body on a cellular level in a really profound way. And Leonard felt strongly that that should be done in individual sessions so that a person can experience fully the power of their breath, the power of themselves, their own energy, their own experience, rather than being bombarded by the vibrations and energy of other people who are also awakening their Kundalini energy. And he spoke about how breathing in groups can impact your Kundalini energy and create imbalances. You're opening yourself up to the vibrations and traumas of other people, and that has an energetic vibrational impact on your energy system. So he was very passionate about maintaining a sacred space, that it is done with one person breathing at a time, to have what's called a completed energy cycle, where you get into the breathing rhythm, your Kundalini energy starts moving and shifting through the body, and then you reach a space of integration and completion, where you're given the time and the space for your energy body to recalibrate and integrate the tremendous transformation that it has just been through, and to come to a place of wholeness and completion and serenity, deep, profound serenity. So it's done individually. The focus is on completed energy cycles. It's also done primarily breathing in and out through the nose. Leonard found that mouth breathing instigates a lot of drama, vocalizing, intense sensations, more tetany. It gets very dramatic and often doesn't result in the higher transcendental states and the calmness and the clarity that is available through nose breathing. It's not that he didn't do mouth breathing. He always encouraged some mouth breathing, but it wasn't the entire session. It wasn't primarily mouth breathing. So nose breathing. And he also felt that it was unethical to teach rebirthing breathwork and spiritual psychology that you create, that your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are creating your reality, without including the teaching of physical immortality. He observed through his 50 years of work that people who did not believe in physical immortality but believed that they were creating the realities and never managed their unconscious death urge actually died much younger, and prematurely than maybe they would have otherwise. So he felt it was actually unethical to not teach physical immortality, but to be teaching all of these other things. So it's a core part to manage the unconscious death urge and be present to it and be having conversations about it and being aware that it is there, and we are working on it, on transcending it. Anything else that you would add to that, Heike?
Yes, and we have been having this conversation about the depths of transformation that the planet, that we individually need, and that we are about to experience. So we are not just wanting a superficial kick. So breathing is so simple. I can put 100 people into one room and have them breathe connected, put some loud music on, and they will all, half of the group will start screaming and acting and experiencing something dramatic. It's not an art. The power of the breath is one of the biggest. It's called prana, it's life energy. And so to stimulate life energy is very simple. But how to complete that, how to ground it, how to make it a lasting, transformative experience, that's what we at Reba stand for. It is not about, just having a high experience or a screaming drama experience and then go home and say, wow, I really got it out. Because the truth is, you only get it out when you relax into it. We are relaxing into the pain. We are relaxing into the memory. We are not acting it out. We are not dramatizing it. We are not complaining about it. We are saying, okay, it happened. I can feel it in my body and I breathe connected, and that connected breathing moves it out of my system, makes it undone. If I do the same thing that I did in the moment of trauma, then screaming is holding your breath. And it might feel like there's something happening, and of course there's something happening, but that is not what we are looking for. We are looking for transforming ourselves and the world into a peaceful, harmonious, loving experience.
I think that's one of the primary distinctions between rebirthing breathwork and other forms, is that the focus is on safety and relaxation, that it's gentle, it's safe, and it's relaxing. And we can go through our deepest traumas or history or memories and have those released and washed away from the body memory in a very gentle and delightful way. It can actually be quite pleasurable. That's our natural state. So it's relaxing into our natural state.
So
And
many people nowadays claim they do Leonard Orr's work. They claim they're doing rebirthing breath work, and you will make the distinction by how it is done. It is in Leonard's idea is it's done in individual sessions, and it is a completed energy cycle, and it's a gentle form of breathing. So like you described it, and that is really Leonard's idea, and that's what he was looking for. And so we at Reba, that's what our mission, that we just keep reminding people of Leonard's ideas, and we are working like that, so that we hold that as a point of reference.
thank you. Yeah, so you can go to rebirthingassociation.com if you're looking for a breath worker in your area, anywhere in the world. We are working on building up our directory of practitioners that are committed to Leonard's form of breath work. And so you can find us there. And I actually, Sky, you just dropped a quote from Leonard in the chat. I'd like to read that so that gets into our recording so everyone can hear it in closing. And yes, you also commented, Leonard rediscovered, revealed the process. For sure. Breathwork has been around for millennia. Like it's in the ancient, it's in Sanskrit, ancient texts. Breathwork has always been around, and Leonard never claimed that he discovered connected breathing. He always said he rediscovered it. I think that's what you're referring to, Sky, unless you were okay. But what he did do was found the modern day breathwork movement and define a completed energy cycle, the nose breathing, and breath work as a form, as a healing modality, as a form of how we practice it in modern day. And he credited, we've been talking about Babaji a bit today, and for anyone who's new, Babaji was Leonard's guru. He's considered to be Shiva, or God incarnated in human form. There may be different definitions and ideas about Babaji. That's how I heard Leonard describe him. He's the you of you and the me of me. He's the ultimate reality and the presence that is all of us. And Leonard credited him for showing him. He says that Babaji taught him and showed him and revealed to him the connected breathing. So actually, both he and Sandra Ray credit Babaji as being the founder of the modern day breathwork movement, as in initiating that through their work and through them. So this
Babaji is the
quote,
source of everything. So sometimes he said he was the source of modern breathwork, and Babaji is the source of everything. So ultimately, everything is credited to the creator of the universe.
and the Babaji in this particular form is Harikan Babaji of northern India, that Leonard had a relationship to, and he visited frequently in his ashram. Okay, so the quote, I love this quote. This is beautiful. You are already immortal unless you prove otherwise. Your physical body will live forever unless you destroy it. The belief that death is inevitable is unhealthy for humans. The idea of physical immortality produces quantum jumps in mental and physical health. Breath mastery is the key to health, happiness, and wisdom. The citadel of death and violence and war is the belief that death is inevitable. To question the thought that death is inevitable is to unshackle the human mind and produce a new experience of natural divinity. This experience can be perpetuated by daily practices of spiritual purification. Leonard D. Orr. And the spiritual purification that he references to is the elements earth, air, water, and fire, and spiritual community and loving relationships. Air being the conscious connected breathing, earth being diet, nutrition, exercise, and your contribution, your being of service and your work and gifts to the world, offering your gifts to the world. Water is having a conscious relationship with water and bathing twice a day and drinking clean, pure water. And fire is having a conscious relationship with fire, spending time with the open flame and understanding how that impacts your energy body and can heal. And spiritual
mind.
community. And mind. Yes, mind, spiritual psychology, understanding your personal case, transcending it, and use of affirmations as a tool to do so. Okay, I think that completes our call for today. I'll end with a affirmative prayer for peace of humanity. Unless there's anything else anyone else would like to add.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Everybody who might watch later, because we will also upload it to our YouTube channel, and we will, it is on Facebook Live right now, but it will also be there for some time. So hopefully many people see us, and we created an inspiration for you, us being inspired by Leonard D. Orr, who we celebrate today and his life.
Yeah, please feel free to reach out to us in the comments, or you can contact us through our website, rebirthingassociation.com. We love hearing from the community and connecting and supporting in any way we can. Okay, so affirmative prayer is, it's also called affirmative mind treatment. We can get lost in our thoughts and identities and, perhaps not life-supporting ideas and behaviors and patterns. So affirmative prayer is here as a way to just kind of refocus the mind and access our natural divinity. as much as possible. So you can just listen and notice how you feel. It's kind of like listening in on a conversation, and enjoy. So thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your light and energy and focus into our community. All right. So I'd invite you to just sit comfortably and have both your feet on the floor and really feel yourself being supported by the Mother Earth. Take some deep breaths, feeling yourself supported by breath, life force energy. And I recognize that there is an infinite intelligence, an infinite being, an infinite manifestation that is the source of all life, the platform from which all of life springs and returns. It is the absolute, the ultimate reality. It is all love, perfect presence, perfect bliss, perfect being. And I recognize that there is no separation between myself and that presence or anyone here, anyone, anything, anywhere on the planet or throughout all of existence is in perfect unity, oneness, and is indeed this presence and divine love. It is right here within my words of breath, present in each person here listening today or on the replay. And so I recognize this natural divinity, this permeating source of all life, all goodness, all love, wholeness, whole and complete, divine perfection. It is right here, right now, right here where I am, right here within the hearts of all of humanity, all of existence. And so I speak this word of truth and of love and of peace and harmony, of divine simplicity for the peace of humanity, calling forth the natural divinity alive and present in each and every person here, each and every being, each and every entity, that it is whole, it is complete, it is the love of God, it is the source of life. And I call forth a demonstration of the peace of humanity, the life urges, the love, the community, the oneness, the wholeness and completeness, and the divine perfection manifest now as world peace, as peace in the hearts of humanity, as forgiveness, kindness, service, support, love, uplifting, connection, wholeness, and harmony between all human beings of all cultures, all faiths, all countries, any perceived separations or distinctions, recognizing the wholeness and natural divinity of each other in peace and love and respect and joy and upliftment and the pure and total bliss of being. And so for all of this and so much more, I give great thanks for this demonstration, for I know that the law of mind is as true as the law of gravity, that divine action has already taken place and is already whole and complete before the request was even made. So I release my word into the law of mind, knowing that it is whole and complete, it is done. I give deep thanks and gratitude for the blessings. I step aside, I release, I let go, and so it is.
It is. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. And we welcome you for the next activity of Reba. And please connect with us and sign up for the newsletter so you will be informed about what's going on, our activities. And thank you, Leonard, for all the inspiration. And Bole Babaki Jai Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you, Heike.
Shivaya.
The live call is finished.